Hello, everyone. I'm here with my friend Chelle Honiker from Indie Author Magazine and like 78 other companies, including Storyteller OS. We're going to talk a lot about AI and about her new Storyteller OS operating system. But Chelle, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
I'm Chelle Honiker. I'm the co-founder and publisher of Indie Author Magazine. We've been around since 2021, started with a group of 22 writers, and now we've got 80 plus. For a long time, we were a monthly print magazine. We're still print magazine, but we're a digital first publication. So we publish every Monday longer form articles on things that are happening in the industry. We're a business journal for working indie authors, and we kind of keep tabs on what's happening in the industry at large. I've been on a whirlwind 3 week event spree. I started with a pop up in Savannah, Georgia, with 25 writers, and then came to the London Book Fair and to the Ally event. And I just finished yesterday with the Ireland publishing show. So there's a lot going
Nice.
on in our industry. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you are the queen of vibe coding, I think, at this moment, at least in the industry, and like at least in the author industry. I know there's people that vibe code more stuff, but like I know you're hearing a lot on the ground of about like not just AI, but the kind of entire industry. Like, what did you learn in these 3,000 events you just did?
I think the biggest shift is I mean, there were a few shifts, right? There's more optimism and there's also more pessimism. There's a lot of people that are getting really frustrated with like AI slop and having discoverability be more of an issue, but also there's a lot of folks that are leveraging AI tools to optimize their workflows and get faster and market and do more than they've been able to do in the past as one person, like solopreneur teams. So that was interesting for me to talk to folks that are tackling translations that they've never had time to do before and doing better work than they've ever been able to do before, starting new pen names. There was a guy that I saw day before yesterday at the Ireland publishing show that actually did an experiment for the show itself and started a new pen name in January and cleared like 7,000 euro on a pen name with no email address. I mean, no email list, nothing. And it was a decent book, but he was pretty bold about the fact that he wrote it with AI, edited it. He's been a working indie author for a long time, but wanted to sort of prove that the gold rush days are not behind us. There are ways to make money still in this industry, even if you get started today. So it was very interesting to see that because a lot of folks are talking about how they're not getting any traction, and he was able to sort of show that he could. So
Yeah,
really
I
interesting.
mean, I've been in indie authorship for a minimum of 10 years, maybe more like 15 years. And the Gold Rush days have always been behind us. Like
Right.
every time I ever talk to anyone, like when the days of like the Amanda Hawkins of the world, and then like when that kind of like method started to like not be out, the Gold Rush is behind us. Like when KU started to like drop rates pretty considerably, like the Gold Rush is behind us. And there's 7 billion people in this world, and I just like will never believe that the gold rush is behind us because like there's always money. Like there's an unlimited amount of money.
Yeah.
You can always make more money. Like this, like money is like a renewable resource, and like there is an ever. Well, I hear this all the time on calls. People are like, I can't, I won't, it's over. And I'm like, well, for you it is because like you're saying those words to yourself. And like I'm gonna get pretty woo in it for a moment because like when you say you can't do a thing, you won't do it because your brain will say there that you can't do it. If you just start saying, oh, like I can do this thing, your brain will start looking for opportunities to do it. And it's not like whether you call that manifestation or growth hacking or stoicism, I don't really care. But like the minute that you start saying that, like, the minute you stop believing that money is unlimited and that you can keep making new containers for money, like, you're going to stop being able to make good containers for money. And,
Yeah,
like, if you make bad containers for money, there won't be money.
right. The quote is whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I think,
Right.
that's the quote that you see on tea cozies all over the place. It's limiting beliefs. I read tons of books. There was some manifestation books that I read years ago, and it literally rewired my brain. And seeing
Mhm.
Lee at the Future Publishing event was just eye opening too. That there's alignment and gratitude, and there's so many things that go into it, but it is ultimately just what your brain believes and how simple
Right.
it is.
Yeah, so like we
Yeah,
think our brain is smart, but it's stupid. Like then this is
yeah.
not about like any single human being smart or stupid. Like our brain is dumb. It can like process a finite amount of things, and when we feed whatever we feed it, it believes. So like it's as
Hmm.
easy to trick our brain into bad beliefs as good beliefs. There's just like
Yeah.
the good and bad about it. And like the minute you start saying, well, okay, I don't want to use AI to write. Like, let's just say, like, you're a person that doesn't want to use AI to write, and like that's your hard line. I, I, I would question. I have so many things to say about that, but like, I'm just gonna let you have that one. Like, you can use it to build websites. You can use it to code apps. You can use it to do research. You can use it to have an assistant. You can train an AI like bot to talk to your readers in your language. Like you can translate things into other languages. Like you can like there's an unlimited amount of things. So like we have said, okay, let's say you don't want to like use AI to write. Or like do covers or like anything related to your book. There's like 9 million other ways to like use AI or like there were like what you see is what you get website builders like 10 years ago. Like you don't even need AI to do it. Like you could just go and make a thing without AI and like it will be pretty good. To especially
I,
today like
yeah, for sure. Especially in the last 3 months, because now we have agentic AI, right? We've
right,
always had a chat version of AI since Chat GPT came on the scene and gained common knowledge and common adopted, practices. But now it is a question of you can wire it up to your hard drive and your own computer and have it do things like build websites or handle spreadsheets or research best selling marketing practices or research what trends are hot on different retailers. It is I always say let the bots do the boring so you can do the brilliant, right? It can do
right,
things better and faster than you can do so that you can get back to the business of writing. Like wherever you stand with regard to AI, and I think there are ethical concerns, and I'm certainly not glossing those over. I think there's a minefield of things that are problematic within the
right.
term in the industry of AI itself. But and I heard a quote the other day that really resonated with me. It was you are free to not use AI, but you're not free to live in a world where it won't affect you. And that's the
Sure.
case, right?
I
And
bet you we're going to say there is no
I
ethical consumption in capitalism anyway. So, like,
well,
you're
that's
going to
true
have
too.
to, like, people complain about a platform and you're like, well, are you going to stop using Stripe too? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, Stripe is a terrible company also. And, like, if you want to use Substack or Kickstarter or just about any platform, you're going to get some combination of PayPal, which is owned by Elon Musk, or at least was for some time. I don't know if he sold it, but like
Was
made a
yeah,
fortune from and Peter Thiel and all these people or Stripe. One of those two are going to be your main payment processor. And like you're going to have to make choices and we always have to make choices and I'm not saying you shouldn't make different choices, but regardless of what choice you make on one thing, if you track it back, you are going to have to make some pretty gnarly choices about like how you live, who you work with, like who you work for. Like like who you accept money from. Like this is all part of being a business, and AI is certainly part of that. But like Facebook has many problems outside of AI. Google has many problems outside of AI. OpenAI may not have many problems outside of AI because that's all it is, but like most of these companies, Oracle on down, have like way more ethical concerns that stem further back from AI. And I always ask people, like, why is this your line?
Hmm.
And so often people are like, oh, I didn't really think about the rest of the lines. And I'm like, are you going to track things back? Are you going to like literally like just like nuke everything about your existence? And if that's not the case, you're going to do and live in a yurt, we like need to have a more nuanced conversation about how to exist in a world where capitalism is the main source of existence and not am I going to stop using OpenAI using stuff that we started talking about like 4 years ago that isn't even true anymore and wasn't even true then.
Yeah. Well, there's also the case to be made that if you've chosen to do business with some of these companies, then you're a stakeholder at that point, and you have
Right.
an opportunity to affect the change and be part of the conversation, right? And instead of railing from the outside, you're able to have some measure of influence from the inside. Like I would rather be able to have conversations about water consumption and vapor cooling and things, and from the conversation of I'm a stakeholder, I'm a customer of yours, Anthropic, and I would very much like you to pay attention to the things that I have to say. I think they're more likely to listen to people that are part of the conversation and than not, right? That's change making affecting the change from the inside rather than the outside.
Right. Exactly.
Tough though.
And,
I get it. It's tough though.
I mean, it's tough to just exist. Like, it's tough to eat an apple. It's tough to go to a store and be like, okay, like you're gonna just shop at Giant. You're just gonna like
Right.
shop at HEB, huh? Like we're just gonna like go in there and like shop at Walmart. We're just gonna do that. And like I don't care. Like I mean I do care, but like I don't care what choices you specifically make. Like institutionally, like all of this is stacked against us. And but like
Hmm.
I mean, it is like Barnes and Noble aren't the good guys. They were the bad guys. And like
Hmm.
they like actively kicked indie bookstores out of existence and like I love like I'm this is nothing against Barnes and Noble, but like please don't go and say the good guys are Barnes and Noble and now the bad guys are Amazon. Like, I feel like there's an ethical line on both of these sides to be like, look, sometimes Barnes and Noble is the only thing that's around, and I want to go to a movie at 2 o'clock. Or like, I like the people that work at Barnes and Noble, frankly, and like they're lovely people. And like you can make the choice. What I don't like is the blinders. Like, okay, well, like I'm just gonna say Barnes and Noble is okay, and then I'm going to like because like that's what fits my narrative. And like
Yeah.
I like going to Barnes and Noble. We go like whenever we have a movie by the Barnes and Noble by us. But like no company is the good or the bad guy. Just because in this narrative currently Amazon is the bigger bad doesn't negate any of the problems that came up previously with Barnes and Noble. And I'm sorry, Barnes and Noble, like I'm picking on you, but like it's every company. And it's like you have to
Well,
make these decisions all the time, and it's bad to make decisions against your best interest, period.
right. I agree. I also think the more things change, the more they stay the same, because there was a period of time when, Bezos was the scrappy little upstart and we were all rooting for him and we all shoved
Right,
over and moved our business over to him because we wanted to stick it to the man, and now he's the man. Like it's just
right.
it's sort of, you know, it's a cycle. It's a circular firing squad sometimes. So
Uh,
make your
okay, so we
best business decisions for yourself, I think is the takeaway from that.
right, and don't shoot yourself in the foot because like maybe you could vibe code something that's really cool, or maybe you have a thing, or like maybe an idea will come in 6 months that you are again, when you cut yourself off to AI, or any of these things. You lose the fact that like Solara is like a thousandth of the water usage of Bitcoin. And like you lose the fact that like, well, when they say AI is like using so much power, they're talking about literally every bit of AI, not only
Yeah,
Gen AI. But you start looking for these things that confirm your worldview. And so
yeah,
if you're able to say, okay, this is my business, these are things I've always wanted to do. These are things that like I don't think that I could do. And like maybe I can use vibe coding to like make space in my life or create my website or create a cool app for my people to like chatbot with my characters. Suddenly you're like, okay, well, let's say I want that. How can I make that in a way that is ethically within the bounds of what I'm going to do instead of just saying, this is a no. This whole industry is a no for me.
yeah. I
So,
think that's sort of along the spirit lines of what indie authors do in general, right? Because
right,
for me, indie never meant self-published. Indie means taking charge of your own career and figuring it out for
right.
yourself. And the coolest innovations that I see now are the fact that you can chat with Claude Code and build your own specialized software to do whatever you want it to do, whether you're a coder or not. You're not limited by constraints anymore. You don't have to be a full stack programmer to build yourself some strategy or database or tool that will help you in some way or fashion organize things for yourself. It's astonishing what's coming from it. I mean, I started vibe coding a couple months ago and I ended up with a full app called Storyteller OS. And I vibe coded authorautomations.social, which is a social media app that will manage your social media end to end, including TikToks and videos and reels and carousels and all kinds of things. I mean, I do have a background in coding to a certain extent, but I haven't been a full stack programmer as a career, as a job. I've just been a project manager and worked with companies on it. So, but it's been interesting to see it from the complete non-technical perspective, being able to build whatever I needed to build to run my business, which is exactly what I've done. It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long? So tell us about Storyteller OS because that is you gave me a demo of it and like I thought it was really like looked like a very useful tool and you probably have
Yeah.
changed it a million times to make it better by now. But like, what is Storyteller OS and like
A bunch.
why even does it exist?
Yeah, so the elevator pitch, if you will, is it's your author business in a box. So it has your writing studio where you can write and edit and you can export and you can save and push your books over to Book Funnel or Lulu. So it's a full funnel for writing. It manages your social media end to end, so you can create all of your social media posts in your calendar and hook up every social platform that you want. There's 13 of them that you can connect. It is your email system. So it's got all of your email newsletters. So it replaces things like MailerLite, it replaces any of the email programs that you've had in the past. And it has a full integration so that everything is in one space, right? We've always had these disparate places where things live, like Google Docs for your manuscripts or, you know, MailerLite for all your email programs, and social media was in maybe Vista Social or maybe Buffer or maybe Hootsuite. So the problem that I was working to solve is having everything in one place so that all of the things that you're doing are more contextual and better, so that you're not having to train chatbots and chat back and forth. It's integrated in with one system and it has everything in one spot. And then it also has direct sales in there. So you don't have to have WooCommerce or Shopify, although it does manage WooCommerce and Shopify if you have those. So it was a way to bring everything into one place for an author and give
Mhm.
them a business intelligence piece so that they can manage their business. My big audacious goal is to have, you know, 1,000 million dollar solopreneurs. That's my big goal. I want to have a
Mhm.
thousand people that can run their $1 million businesses from one place.
So let me give you a. I mean, that sounds great. And how long did it take you to code this?
That's great.
Out of curiosity.
Sorry, what?
So how long did it take to code this by
Oh,
out of curiosity?
oh, I mean, it's taken me months. I've been working on it
Right.
for six months. And it does, the greatest thing is it's been in private beta for a while. So I've had people that are in use and using it. And so every time, something comes up, we build a new feature. Like, for example, I have people that have over 4,000 reviews on one book in Amazon, and it'll pull your reviews in so you can see your reviews and connect people in your database and things. So, I built it with the idea of like 150 or 200 reviews, and now I have to expand it for people that have
Mm,
4,000, 5,000 reviews. So it's always in the
right.
process of iteration and constant improvement. But the base took about 4 months. Yeah, about 4 months.
Yeah. Of like 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week,
Oh,
300
I
hours a
mean,
week.
yeah, I would say, I mean, I am a pretty I'm like you. I will sit at my desk for 12 and 14 hours a day to work on something. Once I've got something, I'm like a dog with a
Sure.
bone and I'll just sit and do it. So I would have spurts where it would be locked in for an entire weekend from Friday night to Monday morning, right?
Hmm.
With about 2 or 3 hours of sleep. So it's a little bit of a manic proposal. So, I mean, in
Sure.
terms of hours, there's probably, I would say, 600 hours of straight development in there. And it's not just me. It's me, but then I also have another programmer that works on it and handles bug reports and things too. And it's been kind of an all hands on deck for a bit for the team as well. But
This is
I mean,
so interesting.
once we saw kind of how people were using it in the wild, it really has expanded into other things. Like, for example, my original vision was that it would integrate with email service providers, right? Like MailerLite or MailChimp
Mm,
or Git or Active Campaign or whatever. And it does, but the better use case is for it to be the email system and utilize, your Amazon keys, and you're in control of your
mm.
sending, and then you don't have to have that spend. So it really does replace a bunch of tools. My original idea was that it wouldn't replace tools, it would just be the central command center for them, but really for the price point it has to replace tools. So we've changed, as we've gone on, it's expanded and grown based on what people have asked for and what it needs. And I think that's kind of the beauty of, like, with indie author and with vibe coding, you can pivot. Like, I can pivot
Right.
and make it better just based on, a handful of people that want something that I hadn't thought of or that's cool.
It makes me think about, so I've been trying to find a new like platform that is better than Substack. Because Substack is
Yeah.
a bad platform. It's a bad platform because it doesn't have an open API. And like any platform that doesn't have an open API is a bad platform. Like I'm just gonna flat out say it. Like if you're listening to it and love Substack, amazing. But like until they open an API, like it's not it can only be so good. And I'm wondering actually now, I'm like, huh, can I somehow take all of my disparate things and put them into one Claude Code app that people can download from like Capitalist. And like it has all my PayHip courses and it has my Substack feed and it has all of these things in one place that people can access and buy without me having to force what I want, well, force the thing that exists to be the thing that I tolerate instead of making the thing that I want out of the tools that already exist and that I'm already using. Because I don't really want to migrate stuff. I just want people to have a hub that they can come and get all the stuff at one place.
Yeah. And for me, I vibe coded my Substack because I use Substack and have a Substack. It's accidental bestseller, but I love it. I built a hub.authorautomations.com, as a companion piece where people could download it and have tutorials and have a forum for chat and have all of that. I vibe coded that. I vibe coded it in Claude Code. That was actually my first foray into it. And I've gone back since, and like the technology has gotten better. My skills have gotten sharper. So yeah, you could absolutely do that. The coolest part of that is when you subscribe to my Substack, you're automatically subscribed to the hub because there's a bridge there with the Stripe. So if you're a paid subscriber, it keeps those two in sync, which again, one of the downsides of having your own system or your own whatever is that you've been reliant on a platform for certain pieces. In this case, I am relying on Stripe, but I would be relying on Stripe anyway because that's
Right.
the payment processor. But I'm not tied to Substack, right? And we've talked about this a lot. You have to own your own stack as best you
Right.
can, leverage tools to get them into your own ecosystem. So yeah, that was kind of my big idea with my hub. But absolutely, you could absolutely do that. It's
Wait, what are you doing to get the Stripe thing working? Because this is the thing that people have told me you can't do or like is impossible to do. Because I'm like, can you connect one program to another program through Stripe? And every single person that I've talked to has said no. Are you using
yes.
N8N or are you using
I'm using a
Make? Like
web.
how we
Yeah, I'm using webhooks. So when someone subscribes in Stripe, it sends a webhook, and then my hub picks up that webhook and creates an account, does any automation that I want it to.
so
It
you
will
created a
if
webhook
people's
in
payments
Stripe?
fail. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So in Stripe, you created a webhook for a pay for each payment.
in
You're gonna have to
Stripe,
we're gonna have to talk about this I'm sorry, everyone. We're gonna nerd out on
we'll
this
talk
thing really
nerd.
quickly. But like
But the cool thing
I'm
is, the answer is
yes, so
the
you
answer is
can
yes. It can.
yeah, I need information about that. I need so much more, but I'm like shocked because this has been like I have like Zap integrations, like I have all sorts of things that like they can't get into because like it's financial data and like it's like this has been an impossible task and I've actually been wondering how you made this happen. So what you are saying is someone becomes a paid subscriber in Substack. They then have that webhook. You then create a webhook that ties it to your automation hub that they can log into the hub and get all of the things while they are paying through Substack.
Correct. I also just want to mention I'm genius.
Yeah, you are like this is like every time I talk to you, it blows my mind in some other way, and I'm like, I know all the things. Like I know what Shell's gonna talk to me about. Like I'm like pretty with it in AI, but every time it's like, wait, you just told me a thing can happen that I have been told. I cannot tell you how many dozens of times I've been told this could not happen because you gave me a Fluent community key, and I
Yeah.
was like, well. I need something like more advanced for just this one part of my business. But you're saying that I can just like use the key, make a hub,
Yes.
and then still run
Yes.
everything else off Substack. I hate the world. I hate, I hate, I hate this whole. You
No.
have no idea. I just got off a call like not 2 hours ago about this exact thing. This exact thing. Driving me. And because I know I have that Fluent community key, I know I can do all the things that you said because like I just need the secret. I need the secret. I need the secret magic to get between
Well,
those
I have the
things.
secret magic. I am using the secret magic on my own, and it works. It's not theory. I mean, it is what I'm doing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
I'm
not.
like, I have all the pieces you have because I have the community part you gave me. I have the Substack part you gave me. I was just like, ugh, I don't want to have to do another payment processor thing. But like, I don't
No,
have to do that.
do not. And with vibe coding, you don't really need Zapier or Make.com, which is actually shocking because I think, for the last 2 years I've been out there as the automation girl sharing Make.com and Zapier.com and N8N workflows and just walking people through those and setting those up. And legitimately 3 months ago when agentic AI came on the scene, it's, those, that's not really a thing that people need anymore. It's been an industry killer for a lot of things that I spent two things, days setting up social media with a series of things is gone. I don't even use that anymore. I vibe coded authorautomations.social, right? And it is a thing that will do the exact same thing that make.com and Zapier did without the need for make.com, without Zapier, without Airtable, without, anything else. The only thing that you need is uh, something to, if you want to generate imagery, and I use freepick.com, and you need, Claude, a paid $20 a month Claude plan, and then you need some way to post the social media. And that's why I built authorautomations.social. The other part that is, again, just freaking cool is I wrote a Claude Code plugin so that someone can install the Author Animation Social plugin to their Claude, right? Claude Cowork or Claude Code, and they can go in and say, generate 25 TikToks, uh, carousel for book one, and post them to TikTok on this queue schedule. And it does it. It does it. You can just naturally speak to your, you know, Claude Code and it will do it. And it has everything that it needs. The bridge is already built for that. So you don't need to have an MCP server and you don't need to have APIs. I cannot tell you everything has changed. Everything has changed. I was at Ireland's publishing show and I shared this yesterday, and I cannot tell you how many brains were on the walls because it is so different. When I came and spoke at SPS in London, I walked through a make.com and I had people that were like, that is mind blowing. That is changing. And then, when they asked me to come to Ireland 7 months later, I couldn't even teach the same thing because it's so different. But agentic AI is what's going to be the killer. We're going to have, this is what's going to stick around for a while. It is. It's going to stick around this is the future. This is the wave. This is when tech finally caught up to our brains, what we want to do with
Yeah.
our brains. It's easier, it's faster, it's cheaper. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I'm kind of sad because my entire Substack is called Author Automations, and it's it's going to be less about automations themselves in terms of make and zap, and it's going to be more agentic AI and how we leverage that in our businesses to
Sure.
build and code and research. And yeah, it changes everything.
Well, you can change the subdomain of your Substack. You can even do it one time without it
I,
breaking your Substack.
I did it one time already.
Oh,
So
oh well,
I'm done.
I did it like I've done it now like many times. I just changed it to Capitalist. As long as you have a custom domain, none of those other rules apply because you can change your domain as many times as you want. Like I did it multiple times in a day, and like it didn't break anything. I mean, it broke everything because the domain has to be right, but like it doesn't break
Right.
anything else. Okay, my next question is, do you think I can do that same thing that you did with Fluent Communities with PayHip?
PayHip's a little bit, yes. I mean, the answer is yes. PayHip's going to be a little bit trickier because they're a little bit they want to stay more of an ecosystem. I mean,
Sure.
we've done some things with Wide for the Win in that regard. Um,
I just have
because
I've had my assistant for the last 2 weeks building a PayHip store for Capitalist, and like kind of don't want her to have to go and build an entirely new Fluent community as well if I can
so
help
the
it.
so the thing is like with all automations, look at the parts that you've got in place, right?
Sure.
Are you using Stripe for your payments, or are you
Yes.
using, yeah, so if you're using Stripe, you can automate off Stripe instead of automating off PayHip. That's the key to it because the Stripe transaction has everything that you need to power the rest of it. So
And
yes, the answer is yes.
okay, so I
The
go
answer
into Stripe and I can automate a Stripe from inside Stripe to Stripe to other Stripes.
Stripe to other, well, it's not really Stripe to other Stripes. It's striped. I mean, it's striped to wherever you want, basically.
Okay. I'm gonna totally feel like I'm gonna break all of my financial systems by doing this, but like now I have a project for this weekend because like this is a way different project than I thought I was going to have this weekend.
I feel like I just yelled squirrel. And then now you're off.
You have no,
I
like,
do
I
that.
was literally about to sign up with like a platform. Like this weekend, I was going to do it. And now I'm like, wait, can I just keep the stripe to stripe and then not, and then do this other thing? Like, that's so much easier for people. Because I've been
I
looking
will
at
also
your hub and I was like, I want this thing, but I need to not pay an additional 10% that Stripe is taking from what Substack takes.
I will also take a minute and just shamelessly plug that this is the kind of stuff that I help people with in my mastermind as a chief technical officer fractionally. As that's what I do is
Yes, that's the
help.
top tier, right? That of your
It
things was
is.
just a whole different tier. Because like I know you have
It is.
multiple tiers on your hub.
I have I have two paid, right? I have just a regular paid and then I've got the founder level paid, which is
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's the big bad kind of where you get to hang out with me on Tuesdays and we talk about nerd stuff. And then you get access to my VIP calendar and things. So yeah.
But then you have like a third thing where you go places and like do this with people too. That's like
Yeah,
you went
I,
to Savannah and just did this with like 25 people, right?
I did. Then I do one-on-ones. Like I just did a one-on-one in London with somebody that is just killing it. I'm so proud of him. He's really like he's got 26 pen names, ghostwriters, and a network, and he's killing it all over the place. So yeah, but my goal is that for people that work with me one on one is to there are no cookie cutter solutions. It is legitimately tell me about your business and then let's optimize and fix your business to have the best tech, the best solutions specifically for you. 100%. That is
I'm
what I want to do when I grow up. It's the coolest thing. It's the most fun that I'm having is that stuff. It's just every indie has, very unique use cases and geographical things and genres and everybody's figuring it out. So for me it's like this big giant puzzle that I get to put together. That's cool.
But me and you have the exact same issue because I have your Fluent Key and your Substack. So I have literally the exact issue you have, which is amazing.
Yes.
That very
Yeah.
rarely happens
It very
in like
rarely
this
happens,
business.
but I mean, you and I are we're using our businesses in very similar ways, right? We give a ton of stuff away in terms of
Right.
information. And then, if they want access to us or they want to have more specialized stuff, then we've got, levels for that. So yeah, we have very, very similar things, but I have a feeling I'm
Okay.
gonna get a call.
No, I just need to know the thing about this the the stripe thing
Definitely.
because I cannot tell you
Definitely.
how many times I've been told this is impossible. It's like at least 2 dozen in the past year. Because like otherwise I'd have already had the thing. So I have my next question is you have like four pricing tiers actually. You have on your author automation, you have a 70 and a 210, and then you have a 39 and a 699 a year on your
Yeah,
author hub. So what's
yeah.
going on
That
there?
right. So the pricing, so the thing was when I started on Substack, it was $7 a month or $70 a
Uh-huh.
yean. Like, that's the
Sure.
suggested pricing they came out with. Nobody knew how to use Substack when it first came out, so we all just went with the defaults, right?
Sure.
When I built the hub, my plan was to upgrade the pricing to $39 a month, or I think it was 6.90. I don't know what the
Sure.
annual was.
699 a year. I'm
I
looking at it right now for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So when I went to Substack and I didn't want to change the pricing for everybody else, I was locked in because of Substack, basically, is what happened. I couldn't change the pricing because of Substack. So if you subscribe through Substack, you get everything that's in the hub without paying the $39 price. And I'm hunkered down in Canterbury for the next week to do like my own fix my own shit mastermind with
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I will
And one
figure
of
out
those
how to.
things is this thing.
Yes, one of those things is fixing that pricing so that it aligns. So it is $7 a month, $70 a year, or $210 a year for the founder level, right? So
Right.
there's two levels of Substack. And then I have my mastermind, which is right now $2,500 a year, but that's where you get me twice a week on 2 calls. Plus, I've got tons of software. Plus, I work one on one with you to thread out all of your um, tech things, whatever it is. Like I'm a fractional chief technical officer for your business. I will fix and figure out with you whatever's going on in your business to optimize it.
Uh,
That's my favorite thing to do. I meet on Thursdays. I've got 22 people in that group, and every Thursday I'm just challenged and we all learn together, and it's the smartest people figuring tech out and doing stuff that's beyond what I ever thought we would be doing in this
Amazing.
industry.
Well, like
Yeah. I,
how does one get into to that? You just got to email you, just got to know that it
yeah,
happens.
just go to shellhoniker.com has really everything. Shellhoniker.com is kind of where the jumping point off is for everything. Like, for example, I've got an AI summit next month, and it's a 2 day AI, like, here's how you get started with the business side of AI. Here's how you can set up your business to utilize AI.
Sure.
You don't want to write with AI? No worries. I don't teach writing with AI, but I do teach how you can set up Claude Code, set up your images, set up, how to install things on your terminal so that you can really, really optimize your business start to finish and get you know, the only thing that you can do is write and create and tell a story. How can you get the bots to do everything else? But
Sure.
yeah, com is the jumping off point for literally everything.
It's true. I just went there and she's not wrong. I see programs, I see a mastermind, I see done for you, I see intensive, I see courses, I see so many more. I see Indie Author Magazine, I see Indie Author Training, direct to readers, just so many things. Like you are
So many things.
just a font
It's
of
but
information.
I am it looks like I do a lot of things, and I won't lie, I do a lot of things, but I also have an insanely great team. Nicole Schroeder runs the magazine. She is the editor in chief, and she runs that tight ship, and she's amazing. And Indie Author Training, Karen Geiler runs that. She's got webinars every single week. In fact, she had a webinar yesterday, an AMA with our friend Oriana from Kickstarter, and she gets 300 people a week on those webinars that are just some of the smartest, greatest. I know you've done webinars for us, and so Karen runs that, and then uh, Elaine Bateman runs direct to readers. I mean, it's I we have a very lean ship, and everything gets done. I'm just internally, I get to look real good.
Amazing. All right, what did I miss? What
Yeah,
did we miss talking about here? Got a few minutes
I think
left.
it's an amazing time to be an indie. It's an amazing time to figure out your personal tech stack and your personal workflows and, level up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never
man.
been it's never been better. Never been more opportunities, I think, than now.
Yeah, I think that's like the capitalist stuff only works if like there are unlimited choices. Like that's why it works. It didn't work 10 years ago because you couldn't actually make your business the way you wanted. You had to make your business the way that platforms allowed you to operate. I mean, there was a lot of flexibility in there, but like I didn't make a traditional business. Like most people I know didn't make a traditional business, but like now there are like no rules. But the thing that makes, I think, capitalist work is that you have to know what rules you abide by. And like that's a thing we've never really had to think about. Like we've never had to think about like what do I actually want? because the choice was like, you get a hamburger, you get a hot dog, you get a sausage. Like those are the options you got. And like if you don't want one of those things, you can get a job. I don't know. Like screw off. Like it's not going to work for you. But like now, when you have unlimited choice, like that is actually the biggest roadblock to having the life that you want, is saying, I I I can't do it, or I don't know how to do it, or I don't know what I want, or I didn't even know this was possible.
Mhm.
So like once you know that they're like, I'll bet there's a lot of people watching that are like, well, that sounds great for Shell. I don't have $2,500. I don't have $7 a month. I don't know why I wouldn't have $7 a month, but like I don't know I don't know a tech stack. I don't know any of these things. And I would come back to what we talked about at the beginning, where it's like that's a lot of negative self-talk. Just a lot of negative self-talk, man. It's just so much negative self-talk. And like it doesn't take a tech genius to vibe code. It certainly doesn't take a tech genius to pay $2,500 to join a mastermind, because then Shell is your tech genius. But it does take the ability to iterate and extrapolate from known data. And it's a something that I think we haven't been taught, or we haven't even been thought about for most of us, is like, how do you take this thing and build the thing you want? Because you don't even know what you want. Like I talk to people every day that are like, I don't know what I want. I got to figure out what I want. And you're like, yeah, man, you're miserable because you don't want this thing that you have, but you also don't know how to get the thing you want because you have no idea what you like, which is where the path of least friction and all that stuff that I do comes in. It's like there are tons of strategies in Capitalist, but like really, it's like once you have the mindset to see opportunity everywhere, guess what? You start seeing
Yeah.
opportunity everywhere.
The universe is always conspiring for our good. I firmly believe that. But I also think in a lot of ways, people that are listening to this have already taken the hard step and decided to be a creative person and an indie author in general, right? Or a creative in general. That takes a lot of guts to be able to create something and to tell a story, or to, you've already done the hard part. Now what's the best that can happen? How do you line up for success, right? We've always been fed the line of the starving artist. I mean, I, that doesn't have to be the case at all,
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
those days are done. We don't have to suffer for our art anymore. And we don't have to be ashamed of it either. We don't.
Right. Yeah. And my wife says almost everything always works out for almost everyone almost all of the time.
Mhm.
And like, if that is true, then we should stop focusing on the worst 5 minutes of our day and be like, okay, like that was a bad 5 minutes. Like, what about the other however many minutes are in a day? Like, what about like the opportunity where you get 1% better every day, or like you find one opportunity every day? Or heck, you just try something every week. And if you hate it, at least you know what you don't like. That's often the best way to find what
That
you do like, is to be like, oh, well, I hated that. So anyway, what kind of what do you want? Where do you want to send people? What do you want people to do when they get off this call? And where can we find you?
I want people to be incredibly curious about AI and then go to chellehoniker.com. And if they're the least bit curious, sign up for the summit coming up in April, April 21st and 22nd. If you've got just burning questions, feel free to reach out. Myself or somebody will get you some answers back. And if you've got, even more burning questions and you think that the mastermind will be a good fit for you and I can help you very specifically, reach out and let me know.
Amazing. I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
And if you haven't heard it today, if you're listening, I love you too. Have a great day.